Welcome to the Geek Remix Podcast reboot.
Yeah, reboot of a reboot of a reboot.
Reboot X7.
Yeah.
Where we're actually going to do a podcast now, or at least try, because people are willing to pay us to do it now. That's the honest truth. And people actually want to. We feel more confident now.
Yeah.
Yeah, before we're like, why do you guys care what we think?
Yeah, but I feel like enough people have, said that they would want to listen to a podcast that it just feels, I don't know.
Feels good. Feels right. So the very first podcast that we're going to do ever, and there's never been any podcast before this, definitely
Don't listen to the other ones. If you find them, they're not from us.
They're from somebody else.
They're from two other really stupid girls.
Who sound exactly like us.
Who sound exactly like us, but...
Where Mari goes on really long feminist tirades. Just... Tirades, where she's just, yelling. That's definitely not me. That's like some other girl named Mari who yells a lot.
I feel like the Mass Effect 3 ending came up at least 6 different episodes.
Well, don't bring up Mass Effect 3 if you don't want me to get mad.
No, you would just voluntarily bring it up.
No, there would probably
anytime something bad happened.
Well, you've already brought up Mass Effect, and I'm already in a bad mood. You brought it up. If you guys know me at all, never ever bring up Mass Effect 3 in front of me, because it's been 4 years and I'm still mad.
So what we wanted to go over today was
Mass Effect 3's ending and why it was so bad. So that's part 1.
So you've settled in.
Part 1 of 17. First we're going to start off. No, okay.
Okay, so we were going to talk about... This is going to be kind of like our Game of the Year podcast for 2015. Deliberations.
Yeah, that makes it sound fancy and shit.
Deliberations. But I also, I feel like it's really hard for us to choose Game of the Year one game or even a top 10 because we play such a really wide range of different types of games.
And yet we're still unable to play every single game that came out.
Seriously, it would be impossible. And a lot of the ones that are in other websites' top 10 lists,
we've never even played.
We've never played, Metal Gear Solid.
So basically, this is the Geek Remix games we played this year list.
Yeah, games we played this year and what we liked about each of them, I guess.
Yeah.
Superlatives.
Mm-hmm. So what's
So the first one I had...
AJ's here too, in case you guys wanted to know. He's gonna be deliberating too.
He's probably gonna be deliberating until he starts snoring.
Yeah, if you hear a little puppy snoring, that's AJ.
Yeah. He's
already closing his eyes.
I know. So the first one I had was The Order 1884. And this was
no, before you guys leave, before you guys exit out immediately, here's out. It's the best game that's not... If you don't pay attention to anything that they're saying or doing, or any of the logic, and just look at them, and then insert a lot of sexual tension.
Yeah.
It's a really great game.
I feel like people... tried way too... They, looked at, what the characters actually say and, the story of the game.
There's Stacey's quotation mark story. And we, completely ignored what was going on.
I feel like that was, one of the only Let's Plays where during it we would actually talk while the characters were talking.
I know, that's... Usually we have this really strict rule of never talking when the characters are talking.
Yeah.
But this time we were just inserting what we wanted them to say.
Yeah. So we would just, start talking and would, insert all these, wild sexual fantasies between the characters. By the end of it, I swear to God, I really
No, it was real. I believed
real.
It was real, too. So, a lot of people were like, oh, I guess we're just gonna leave while you guys are doing this game because it's so bad. I was like, no, we made it good.
Yeah, we made it good.
We had, a live action fan fiction going on.
Yeah.
Because at first we were like, oh, Izzy's fucking everybody. But then Stacey was like, wait, hold on.
No.
What if everybody in the Order is just free sex?
Yeah. What if everybody's fucking each other?
And that's, if you want to be in the Order... listen, you gotta watch your Let's Play. I know this is, an advertisement for our Let's Play, but I really feel like people did not appreciate the level of...
People who watched it appreciated it, and then, there were, I feel like a bunch of people who were I don't want to watch it, because I, didn't like the game, But it's like, you're not watching
Yeah, no, you're, like, I feel like we put so much work into making this amazing sexual, romantic story between Galahad and the French guy. And by the end of the game, everybody else believed it too.
Let's be honest, we made it into, like, a really gay fanfiction.
It was I swear to God, by the time...
There was so much, like, between the two of them, like,
by the end of the game, I was convinced it was real.
Yeah.
I was convinced that Galahad came back for, what was his name? It was, like, a really French name.
Yeah, Lafayette.
And they were, like, because we were like...
Ooh, you said that very French, Marie.
And no, he was like... Oh, yeah, and he calls him, like...
I've waited for you.
He calls him mi amor or something like... Or no, so he says something very, like, confirming.
Very, like, Frenchy
at him. Like, by the end of the game, I was like, oh, wait, no, this is real. This is real. This
like, we didn't dream of this. Like, it's reality. Also, if you watch that Let's Play, you'll figure out who invented vibrators.
Exactly. We pretty much paired everybody up with each other, and they have the kinkiest sex lives in the world. Except for what's her name, because she wasn't being cool. She, like, was not being chill about it at all. Izzy.
Yeah.
Like, at first we loved Izzy, but then Izzy was, like, kind of, like, being, like, a downer and then breathing hard a lot.
Yeah, because that's a good reason to cut somebody out of sex.
No, because she was just being like, you were hanging out with her behind my back? Oh my God.
Yeah.
She was just, like, not being cool. And then she wouldn't let us explain ourselves. But then, to be fair, when she asked us to explain ourselves, we said we didn't have time to
like, I'm a man, I don't have time to explain myself. And she was like, well, fuck you then. Pretty much.
I'm a man. I don't want to marry you, Izzy. I want to be with Lafayette. Anyway, what I'm saying is, it's the best game to play if you don't pay attention to anything that's happening and only look at how hot everybody looks.
Yeah.
And make up stories about how they're fucking each other.
And people are really hot.
They're so incredibly hot. I am so glad that... Here's the thing. If they weren't that hot, that game would suck.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
But Izzy, Rebel Queen... We all have nicknames for each person.
Oh my God, the Rebel Queen.
Oh my God.
So hot.
And I guess her daughter or something... Or she called her mother. I don't know.
That was like, yeah, I'm not so sure about that because it's like they looked like they were the same age, but I also know in other cultures sometimes like...
Yeah, like like Nuna and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, it was great. Like everybody was incredibly hot, and all the guys were really hot too with their like weird old-timey mustaches that like if a guy had it today you'd be like ugh, but
you'd
like
be like ugh, but like somehow like when it's like an old-timey mustache, like actually in those times you're like
oh, and they had like hot uniforms, and then like a lot of guys got like naked because they have to like rip their clothes off to become a werewolf. So what I'm saying is really good game.
Totally great if you don't actually pay attention to the game.
Yeah, you have to play with a friend or watch our Let's Play or something.
Yeah. Her story. Best sibling relationship.
Should this just be a spoiler?
I don't want to go
You already spoiled it. It's too late.
Yeah. Well, people only know that it's a spoiler if they've played the game.
Yeah, but now, okay, whatever. Spoilers. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Best sibling relationship. Yeah, it turns out they really are sisters, right? Which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
What did you think of the storytelling medium?
I thought it was really interesting, although I feel like we didn't really like fully grasp like how to use the tool until much later in the game. I
think that's the point, though. Like, it's not like everybody goes in and they're like, oh, yeah, I fully understand it,
But just, I don't know. It's like, sometimes I feel like games kind of just, like, let you, like, bumble around a little bit, which is, like, it can be fine, but at the same time, like, when you're playing a game where the point is to, like, examine every clue and stuff, it is kind of aggravating to have to like be like, oh, now that I finally figured out how this section of it works and what I'm supposed to be looking for, now I have to go back and look at everything if I really want to like understand the full picture.
To be fair, though, I remember when we first started playing it, you didn't like it at all.
No, I didn't.
And then 45 minutes in, you were like, wait a second. I love it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Because
I love it so much.
Yeah, because I feel like it takes a while for the story to develop. We played a lot of games like that this year, where for the first, hour, I was just like, this is stupid.
Like the beginner's guide?
Yeah. Well, no, the beginner's guide we both thought was stupid.
No. Yeah, no. I came in and I was like, this is going to be amazing. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh! And then everybody yelled at us because we didn't get it. And I was like, you know that,
how are we supposed to, yeah.
But no, in my opinion, I feel like the main character was supposed to be annoying. Because I talked to a lot of other game developers, and they were like, yeah, I found Davey to be really annoying when I was playing it. And then I realized it was, something else.
Well, I feel like the whole point of that game is that you're supposed to come to a dawning realization.
Yeah.
You know, that it's not supposed to just... Yeah, we should probably just put a thing in front of this podcast that it's not
spoiler cast.
Spoiler cast, yeah.
Yeah, spoiler cast everything.
Yeah. Well, or just that if they...
No, I think that it's, as you were saying, it's a dawning realization, and it's either...
It's supposed to piss you off at first, and then when you come to the realization on your own, I think that's way better than the game, bludgeoning you over the head with the story.
No, so here, in my opinion... I think people either experience it two ways, but each person came to the same, shocking realization. Yeah. You either were totally along for the ride with Davey, or you were really pissed off at Davey the whole time. Mm-hmm. So there were people who were really along the line with Davey because they thought that Davey was the real-life Davey. Mm-hmm. And then there were, us two... I'm not saying that we're better or we we interpreted the game better or anything. This is just how we interpreted. We were frustrated because it wasn't so much that even it didn't give us time to talk. It didn't give us time to think. Mm-hmm. Because we would sit there and then we were wondering why is Davey not letting Coda speak for himself through the game? Because you know how a lot of people talk about games as their voice? Mm-hmm. That was really annoying me. And then other people who were along the line for Davey, and it's just everybody gets something different out of it, I think.
And I feel part of that is also because it depends on your personal life experiences, what you are going to relate to more, what is going to make the most, whenever anybody plays a game, their interpretation of it and their initial feelings from it are based on their personal life experiences and how that causes them to relate to or not relate to different aspects of the game. So two people could play the same game that's very clearly spelled out to be one journey, but two people will come at it from two different sides because they're different people. So there is no wrong way to experience the game.
So yeah, exactly. And I think one of the reasons Stacy and I were just so annoyed with the character Davey, and remember, the character Davey is not the real-life Davey, and you shouldn't make judgments on the real-life Davey based on the character he put himself onto.
Well, Sybil was also like that, where it's it was the character, quote-unquote, is her, but she is not the character.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which I sent her an email about. I was like, hey, I'm going to put this review in, and I hope you realize that I'm judging the character of you and not you. And she's like, yeah, I understand. And I just want to be I didn't want to start talking shit about her.
Oh my god, she's so annoying. Just and then they have everybody be like, oh my god, Mari has beef with Nina on Twitter.
I know. I don't think that, because I wanted to be listen, I'm gonna be judging the character Nina and not you, and I just want you to know that this is not what I think of you. This is what I think of the character as presented in the game, and this is not what I think about you as a person. Mm-hmm. She's like, that's cool. And then in the review, I was like, she's a bitch. But anyway, I'm saying is I think part of the reason Stacy and I were so annoyed with the character Davey is that a lot of people really love to because Stacy and I love to analyze video games. People think, that gets people's brains working, and that's a good thing. But then
we analyze video games and we analyze the characters in the games.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where you're going with this analogy.
Yeah, and then that gets people's brain juices going, and that's a good thing. However, then people start like mixing up the characters with Stacy and I, and I'm like, whoa.
Meaning that they will openly analyze us as characters and
to our
faces. Friendship. Yeah.
To our faces.
When we're real people.
Like, they will send us these things.
It's so weird.
It's very strange.
Very weird.
And I think that's why our reaction to people was so, like,
oh my god, what is this guy doing?
And it's like that same thing comes along to, like, Masochisia, where I joked with the developer of Masochisia, like, oh, haha, you're, like, totally messed up. And he's like, no, I'm not. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, because he's not...
Like, yeah, because you're just joking, but at the same time, you're like, no, like, you know, it's like, the work doesn't always belie the personality of its creator. Like people can create things that are, like, really fucked up, really, like, depressing, really dark, or really happy when they're not.
Even when it's an act of self-expression, you're still seeing only a tiny pinhole into who that person is. Mm-hmm. So, like, take that as what they want instead of having that be, like, a character flaw or bonus or anything, because it's like... There's somebody I know who wrote a bunch of songs about being depressed, and now he gets, like, all these messages from people.
Are you okay?
Like, saying, oh, I'm, like... saying, like, all these things, and, like, he doesn't... What I'm saying is, if somebody really famous talks... No. Now people are gonna think that I don't want them to message me about, like, their struggles, which I'm fine with. But what I'm saying is, you can't make, like, judgments on other people's personalities based off their work. You can make a small, like... you know, thought about it, but you can't be like, oh, this is who they are.
This is everything that they are.
Yeah.
It might be a part, or it might not be.
Yeah.
But you don't really have a way to know that, you know?
Yeah. So what were we talking about before the beginner's guide?
We had talked about her story, but the one that I wanted to go to next was Cute Demon Crashers.
Ooh, so saucy. Did that even come out in 2015? Whatever, we played it.
I think it did. Either way, we played it in 2015. Everything else on this list is, like, definitely from 2015. But Cute Demon Crashers, I would say, if you guys haven't watched that yet, it is hilarious.
Also, we suggest that people buy it. Or donate to them or whatever.
And I would suggest that you play it for yourself, because it is actually, like, it is really...
very sensual.
Yes. But very embarrassing to have to read to your best friend.
Stacey, it's very strange telling you that your vagina tastes like a yogurt parfait.
God. Oh my god.
Whoa. Like, the writing is
I don't know
really
what to say, like, when you say things like that. I'm like,
I didn't say it. The game did.
The game did. Just be really clear that your ear didn't actually...
Hey, Stacey, what's up? Pussy tastes like yogurt.
Oh.
What?
Yeah, but that game was really awesome. If you just want some, like, smutty fantasy fun, it is great.
Yeah, it
really is
pretty good.
Yeah.
Love it.
Contradiction.
Oh yeah. Great.
Which I love the reception that got from people. Like, people got really excited about that game, and it was great.
Yeah, why everybody loved Contradiction, but then we're trying to play the Tesla Effect and nobody cares. And I'm like, it's literally the same game.
It's yeah. I don't know.
I don't know what it is about Contradiction, but Tesla Effect is like, whatever, I don't care. Probably because, you know what, I don't know. Contradiction, it's very hard to be campy in the exact right way. Yes,
that's true. Yeah. And it did a really good job of, the actor who played Jenks, I actually, like, tweeted at him. I was like, hey, loved it. Like, you're great.
Everyone's like, oh, Jenks for next Doctor Who, like, blah, blah, blah.
That guy was so great.
He just was, like, happy to be there.
I know.
You know, just so excited about life.
I know. I feel like he really just, like, he was the one that just, like, brought it and left everything out on the table. You know what I mean? Where you can tell that an actor is just fucking loving what they are doing.
He was just 110%.
Mm-hmm.
I found the actress for, what's her name?
Emma?
The one who kept lying a lot, is that Emma?
The brunette?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's on, like, some YouTube channel and does stuff.
Oh!
Yeah.
Like, that's really her?
I think so.
Because I don't know, like, because I wasn't sure. I saw the person that, like, sent that to you, but I wasn't sure if they were just saying, like, it looks like her, or, like, it is her.
It looks so much like her, I can't say no.
Oh.
Like, it was, like, seriously her.
Yeah. Because I saw, like, just the thumbnail with, like, a brunette girl, but I didn't look at it closely enough.
I watched the video, and she sounds the same, too. So, otherwise, you know, then if you're white and brunette, it's all the same.
It's all the same.
Stacy's in the game.
Yay! I'm technically a redhead now, Mari.
Whatever, your roots are brown. And also your hair is purple right now, from what I can see.
We need to talk if you think it's purple.
It looks burgundy right now.
Oh, okay. Burgundy is not purple. We're not having this conversation.
Okay. Whatever. Oh, I would like to bring something up.
What?
The dress.
Oh, God.
Stacy, when the dress came up, she was so mad. She was just mad.
The
just
dress
angry
meaning
about
the
it.
dress that some people thought was blue and black and other people thought was white and gold.
Yeah. So, here's the thing.
And it, like, set fire to the internet for, like, a couple weeks, and I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
You know what, though, Stacy? I told Stacy this before. If Stacy saw blue and black, which validates Stacy that she's like, my eyeballs are smarter than everybody else. I just have smarter eyeballs. But if Stacy saw white and gold, she would kill herself.
I know. Because
wait, you wouldn't kill yourself, because this would give you the determination to live forever. Because what you would do is you would change majors. Yeah. You would change majors into, like, neuroscience, start an institute, and prove that everybody is wrong about colors. And be like, the dress was white and gold. And like, what are you talking about? 37 years ago.
37 years ago. Hello. Some of us have never been able to let it go. Yeah. But that's why I was so, like, pissed, because I could see, like, what could have been, you know? Because I was like, oh my God, can you imagine if I had been one of those people?
I told Stacy that it didn't have anything to do with computer screens, and that people were looking at the same screen and seeing.
I told you you were a liar.
No, I'm not a liar. People were looking at the same screen, passing around phones, being like, this is white and gold. Another person going, this is white and black, black and blue. And Stacy was like, no, that's not true. It's impossible.
Well, but, like, I guess what, you know what? We're not getting into this right now.
Because she's gonna get so mad.
Because I just started to gear up for the conversation, and then I was like, no, we can't.
No, I want to hear it.
No, we can't go into this. No.
I want you to imagine a life. I want you to imagine the dystopian, ruined wasteland that the United States would be if Stacy saw white and gold. She would burn. She would lose it. It would be done. Geek Remix is over. Mari, our colors are purple and blue. I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah, Geek Remix, our colors are purple and blue. Stacy, they're green and pink. And you're like, no, they're not. Yeah.
Tear my eyeballs out of my face.
Get eyeball transplants.
Life is strange.
Most French.
So
everyone's like, okay, spoiler cast, that the endings were like, feudalism. And it's like, okay, I get it. People want happy lesbians. People want happy endings for gay characters. Valid, completely valid. Valid point.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other side of that is that the ending was completely French.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I actually didn't interpret it as being as, like, doom and gloom as people thought. Like,
it was pretty doom and gloomy, but you also have a fatalistic view on life, so anything better than the worst possible thing is the best.
They left it open-ended so people could decide for themselves, and everybody chose to see, like, the death and destruction. Like, that's what everybody inserted into it, including you, which is fine. I chose
that, and I was happy with it.
Yeah, and I'm saying, like, that's fine, but, like, I also don't like the idea that people are like, is this horrible? And I'm like, no, like, you don't have to see it that way if you don't want to.
Exactly. You know that the developers specifically said, we left that open so that you could have your own thing. And that still wasn't good enough. Then the developers were like, yes, Mari, you are They literally said, yes, Mari, you're correct. On one of the videos that I made about the morality of time. The one that everyone was like, no, I don't agree with you, blah. It's like,
Mari, you're right. And everyone's like, I don't think she's right. I think the developers are lying.
No, they said the developers were wrong.
Oh, wow.
But, like, one of the developers was like, Mari, you got it completely right. Yes, this game is about not trying to be perfect and failing. And I was like,
how could the developers be wrong? The developers made the game.
No, because they were just like, no, that's not it. And I was like,
no, it's about, like, something else.
Which is a valid way to look at a game if you want to. But at the end of the day, I was right.
Well, but at the end of the day, like, I don't know. Why?
It's a valid way to look at something if you feel like you want it to be your own experience.
Yeah.
But you can't tell me I'm wrong, though.
I was just going to say that, like, telling the developers that, like, they're wrong about what the game means is not, like...
I think, no, but I had a conversation with somebody who said, that's not the right thing for me.
Yeah,
and I was like,
how I want to see it, which is totally valid.
Which is totally valid. But you can't tell the developers they're wrong. But I feel like...
I'm sorry, you were wrong about how you made the game.
No, I feel like a lot of people were, like, really pent up about, like, not getting that golden ending.
Mm-hmm.
Which I feel is different from Mass Effect 3 because...
No, you didn't. No, you did not just bring up Mass Effect 3.
Just let me. The ending of Mass Effect 3 was written in a fucking closet on a napkin at the end of the thing, where they deleted the original ending that was written by the original creator of the Mass Effect universe. And the ending of Life is Strange was known from the very first day they started writing. This was the outline that they had from the very beginning. This is what they wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
That was their outline, and they stuck to it. And little details they moved around, but the outline they stuck to it. Okay? So it wasn't bad writing. It just was fatalistic, and some people don't like fatalistic things.
It was very French.
It was very French. What is more French? You say it. What's more French than letting everyone die for your lesbian love of your life?
Nothing.
Have you guys seen French movies? Have you seen French horror movies? I know this isn't a horror game.
Oh boy.
But French horror movies, there was an era in French horror called just like, I think it was called like extremism or something like that. Where every French horror movie, they were like, no, I'm going to be even more fucked up. No, I'm going to be even more fucked up just to be fucked up.
The one that I always go back to is Martyrs.
That was...
because, like, what the fuck?
You think like, the whole time there's hope, and they're like, nope.
You think the whole time that there's, like, hope or that there's going to be, like, some sort of, like, anything at the end?
No, stupid. It's called Martyrs.
Yeah.
And at the end I'm going to spoil it because it's French as hell.
Yeah.
At the end of the game, a bunch of rich people torture this woman to the brink of death so that she can, like, tell them some sort of stupid-ass fucking French shit.
Mm-hmm.
It was so bad. And then she dies. The end. They cut off all her skin. The end.
Yeah. They torture her until she dies. That's the whole movie. The whole movie is just, like, her being tortured.
Well, no, the first half of the movie is her and her friend, how her friend escaped being horribly tortured.
Yeah.
And then they kill the family that tortured her. And then she doesn't believe her that they did this to her. And then they kidnap her and do all that stuff to her. And then she dies. All her friend gets killed and she gets killed.
Everybody dies.
Everybody dies.
That's like, you know, if you come up with an ending that's better than everybody dies, you're doing pretty well. By French standards.
Exactly. See, Stacey and I were like, oh, this is a French studio. And then we looked at their other works and we're like, oh, no. Oh, no, I don't know.
Okay. Dreamfall Chapters.
Best game where you can have the biggest argument ever on the internet over if Keon is gay. Even though Keon said, I'm gay.
Talked about being gay, and the developers were like, he's gay!
And they're like, I just don't see it. I just don't see how he's gay. And I'm like, how did you miss that?
I don't know. I don't know how people missed it. It's like, it's really fucking gay. Like, it like hits you over the head with the gayness. And I mean that in the best way possible. Like,
no, it's like
that game is really openly gay.
There's like the teen lesbians and they're like kissing and because like sometimes developers have to be like, they are gay, it's gay, they're gay, they are together, they are gay,
everything is gay,
it's gay, and then people will be like, I guess they're bisexual.
Like I don't know though, that's not how I saw it, and like my experience is really more important than yours. Or, like, the developers, like, what they say.
Oh, my God. Like, okay. Bisexuality is a valid sexuality, 100%. It's just that when Ellie and Riley got together in
The Last of Us.
I was like, okay, as far as we know, she's gay.
Mm-hmm.
So many teen boys were like, you don't know, she could be bisexual. I was like, first of all, she's not real. Second of all, if she was real, she wouldn't date you.
Yeah.
Like, fuck off. Like, seriously.
Yeah, Oops.
It's whatever, who cares? Like, okay. Anyway.
Moving on. Oh, I do like I can't wait to see more of that game because it's kind of like leaking into 2016, so we still haven't seen like the culmination of
episode 5. That game is so hard to run, but the story is so good.
Yeah. I really like it, and I feel like you don't have to have played all the other games to like really get into it.
I like the statement that they made with Keon kissing Anna, but that not affecting his sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was pretty much, like, pressuring him into kissing her.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like... Oh, and it wasn't kiss her. It was either pull away or don't pull away.
Yeah. It wasn't really, like...
an actual kiss.
Yeah. I don't know. I've definitely... just gonna say this... I've definitely kissed people that I did not want to kiss.
Lots of people have.
Because to not do it would have been awkward. And so then you just kind of like do it and you like get it out of the way and then you're like, all right, I'm out of here.
Okay.
You know?
Hold on. What about that? Let me know if you want me to edit this out. That guy from the elevator.
Oh, which one?
The one who grabbed your face and kissed you?
Oh, God.
Exactly.
Oh,
that's
God.
pretty much the Anna situation. If you want me to edit out, say it right now.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Do you remember the guy that, like, came to our door? Who was like, yeah.
That was really weird.
That was really weird. That was totally an Anna moment where it was like, I've been watching you.
Like, I can't believe, okay, so, like, yeah, guy... Anyway, like, people don't believe women when
on a total side note, yeah.
Like, a total side note. People are like, no, that would never happen. I'm like, yeah, it does.
It does. It totally
definitely
happens.
does. Like, I've been on, like, the L, and I was, like, had my hand on the, like, the thing that you hold on to.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just standing there, and this guy has his hand over my hand.
Yeah.
Just holding
above.
it above.
Not over, like.
And then he, like, slowly slides his hand down the pole. And my hand is at the base of, like, the pole that connects to where the seats are.
Yeah, yeah.
His hand goes on top of my hand. And I'm just watching this happen.
Ew.
And I'm just like, what is happening? Like, do I move away? Like, what do I do? Just, you know how weird I get in public where I get to the point where I cannot.
Well, and also, like, it can be really scary to react to something like that because if this person is, like, willing to do that to you, like, you don't know what else, like, you don't know where their line is of, like, where,
and
you know?
then they just slowly put their hand back up on the pole and up, and I was just, like, standing there like, oh my god, what the fuck was that?
It's like somebody just touched your hand, and it's, like, feels violating, though. You know?
He had his hand on my hand for, like, a while, and I was just staring at it like, what do I do? Why is this so weird?
Ew.
This is the weirdest thing in the world. And then that other guy who, like, followed me to my car and then asked for pictures of my feet and then offered me $5.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And then offered me $10, and then he started screaming, please.
God.
Anyway,
Yeah.
well, I guess it was my fault wiggling my toes around like some sort of toe harlot.
Yes. Let's Albino Lullaby. Creepiest worms.
Why doesn't it radiate with joy?
The worms.
It doesn't accept its punishment.
Oh god, that's just like freaking me out just thinking about it.
Okay, so like I interacted with some people who were like
Did you say interacted?
Yeah.
Like they're a feature in a game?
Yeah, I interacted with them. And they were like, yeah, I don't understand. Like, it wasn't that good. And I was like, did you read anything? Did you pay attention? They're like, no, it just ran from point to point. I was like, why do you even play games if you just, like, do that? But you have to, like, read the notes and everything to really understand how creepy this game is.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bunch of kidnapped children who are slowly turned into monsters who have to obey these, like, creepy things. And it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Ugh.
It was just like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And it's been a while between episodes. A lot of these episodic games take, like, way too long between episodes.
Actually, the next one that I was going to mention has been a while since we saw an episode come out, and that's Blues and Bullets.
Yeah.
I feel like that the next episode was supposed to come out in November. Which, I mean, no rush if you're, like, you know...
Have no money.
If you have... I feel like I'm much more understanding of that now. One, because it takes time to do this shit. Two, if your full-time job isn't to be a game developer and you're just, like, making a game...
On the side
or you're in your spare time, like, it is time-consuming to create content, and it is hard to do it around other obligations. So it's like... You know, some of these indie developers, they're kind of like us. Like, they might have, like, you know, a side job. They might also be in school. And, like, the indie game might not be their full-time thing.
By the way, YouTube doesn't make a lot of money. Like,
no.
You guys may think that we may be rolling in it, but we're not. And also, we still have to split it between two people.
As evidenced by the fact that I still have a full-time job.
Exactly.
That I can't give up. So
yeah, she can't give it up, guys.
No, that's like nobody's fault. I guess I just want to kind of like, you know, Gabby Dunn actually wrote a really good article about how like there's like kind of a disconnect between what people see as social media fame and how much those people actually make. Yeah,
you don't make any money off of Twitter, Instagram, or any of those things unless you have millions of followers. Millions.
And sponsors and like all that stuff. Yeah.
Like, and we don't...
And like, you have to, you know, you have to put a lot of work into it. It's not like just recording content. Like, it's a hustle, you know? You have to like... and especially like for a smaller channel, you're looking at, you know, getting keys to games because we can't afford to buy every game that we do.
Can't afford to buy every game we do because it's way too expensive.
Yeah. I mean, if you cover a lot of games, that's why a lot of smaller channels get kind of, you know, shafted or limited because they don't quite have the clout to request a key.
And they don't have enough money to buy games.
Yeah, but they don't make enough money to buy the games yet, so...
It's just you have to get lucky.
You know, Hoodie Panda actually did a really good video that was talking about that. About how, like, it can be hard at the beginning to... Because you're not, like, making enough money to really, like, support the channel.
You have to tell yourself it's a hobby until it's not.
Yeah, definitely.
And, like, in the early days, like, I used to, like, go to work, then take the train, go to school, come home, and then I would be, like... just, like, edit, and then I'd be like, okay, I guess 4 hours of sleep is enough. Maybe. And then, like, on days when we, like, really had to do it, like, when games like Until Dawn or Life is Strange or something like that, like, we used to not be able to get review keys for that, so I would just, like, make Stacy come over and be like, Stacy, we're gonna record until 3 a.m. and then I'm gonna edit until 6 a.m. while you take a nap, and then you're gonna wake up and we're gonna record some more, and then I'm gonna drive you home, and then I'm gonna edit some more. So then I would go like 48 to like 72 hours without sleep.
The Until Dawn was insane.
Yeah,
that was insane because we played that entire game, which ended up, I think, like, the quote unquote game time was like 10 hours. But, of course, it took us longer because we talk about everything.
And then we also have to take breaks and everything.
Yeah.
And then, like, when Life is Strange comes out, I don't sleep. And, like, before, we used to not be able to do that. So, like, we just would be like, guess we're not sleeping this week. Like,
yeah.
End.
Guess we're not sleeping this week. Oh, well. Or you're not able to cover a game, like, right when it comes out. Remember?
And before that, I used to sign up for, like, focus marketing groups and, like, do medical, like, focus groups.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then, you know, they would give you like $200 and they'd be like, ho, $200 to play on to use on the channel. Like, woo.
Yeah.
Like, oh, $200. Now I can buy a game and some equipment. Like,
yay.
And it was like, wow. And then finally the channel eventually started making money. I was like, oh, thank God.
Like, just, you know, enough to, like, get everything, like, above water and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it's not easy. A lot of people, like, and even, like, other people, like Dragist. Like, I remember when he first started blowing up and I was pissed off at him. And he was like, yeah, I'm working, like, 12-hour days because I don't want to give up this, like, major boost. And he, like, people think that his job is so easy, but they have no idea, like, the amount of work that him, Matt Shea, like, Weasel Zone and Blitz put into their channel. Like, I see the back end. They're constantly being like, hey, do you guys know the contact for this guy? Do you know this? Oh, and, like, they're all, like, always, like, compounding, like, hey, do you know what this is, this and this and this is this? And they'll play the game, edit it, they work really hard, like, they work their asses off to get to that point, so it's not, like, easy.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, anyways, we were kind of talking about, Blues and Bullets.
Yeah, no, and same thing goes to developers. You think, oh, developers, easy cash street, like, oh my god, like, no way.
No way.
No.
No way.
It's,
you know,
like...
And it's funny because sometimes people are like, oh, like, being a Let's Player, like, oh, like, that's easy and everything. And I'm like, you know what? Or they'll, like, look at our work and they'll be like, wow, like, that's, like, so great. Like, what you guys do is so, like, great. And I'm like, you know what, though? Like, we can't do any of it if people don't create great games.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, our work is, like, transformative work off of a developer's awesome game that they put, like, all this time and love and sweat into.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know. I always, like, just want to... It's, like, why I wanted to do a podcast like this is so that we could just, like, give props to all the awesome games that we played this year.
Yeah.
Because we picked some good ones.
Life is Strange, Oxenfree recently. This is
That's
a new podcast now.
2016.
I know, this is just a new thing now, but I'm just saying, like, there are so many games that have so much work put into them, and sometimes I feel like people don't really, like, appreciate them, and people just don't realize how much work goes into, like, even games that you would think is simple.
Yeah. Are simple.
It's just, even, okay, the guy who made Undertale, the person who literally, by himself, made the whole game, including the music, made the game of the year, his mom was like, oh, so now you can have, like, a real job then. And he's like,
yeah, like,
what?
Yeah.
Like, she like, didn't get it. She did not understand.
Yeah. I feel like my parents just think this is, like, some sort of, like,
blah, blah, blah.
You know what? They're kind of the opinion that, like, it's a hobby that makes me happy. And so they're like, okay, as long as it, you know,
whatever.
You know?
I told my parents, hey, like, I'm on The Escapist now. And they're like, uh-huh. And I'm like, and, like, my sister's boyfriend works as an entertainer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you guys think it's cool what he does, and they're like, yeah, but he's like really famous, and I'm like, god damn it, now I need to like
it's kind of like
we have more subscribers than his channel, so
it's kind of like when you tell people like how many subscribers you have, and people are like, oh, like, is that a lot? And I'm like, I don't know, is that a lot of people? If you like stood in a stadium with that many people, would you think it's a lot?
Sorry to be such downers, but we're really frustrated.
No,
nobody, like, you guys
dang
probably
it. We keep turning this into complaining.
No, you know what? I don't care. Okay, just to put it into perspective, because I know a lot of people out there are like, oh, I'm such like a dork or whatever. Put it into perspective. You guys think that we're super cool.
We are dorks.
In our context of our lives, everyone in our life is like, I don't care. Like,
yeah.
Everyone
they don't think we're impressive.
They really do not think that we're like impressive people at all.
There's been only like a few people that I've met in real life that were actually legitimately like, oh, you have a YouTube channel, like, that's cool. Most people are like, oh, YouTube, okay,
whatever. Like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah,
like, even my boyfriend and Stacy's husband's like, okay, whatever. Yeah, like, my boyfriend will watch like our Let's Plays because he's like, I don't know, that's his conduit of playing video games these days. Mm-hmm. And then he'll come into I'll be playing a game, he'll come in, he'll be like, when you said that one part of the Let's Play, I disagree. And I'm like, can you not internet comment in real life? And
you're like, wow, that was 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He does that.
Like 4 months later, it's like getting a comment on a Reddit post that you like forgot you ever made.
Yeah. But it's real life.
And then you read it all over again and you're like, oh, God.
Why are you here? Oh my god. He almost watched our Emily is Away Let's Play, and then I like had to like take it away. Yeah.
So be like, no, I think you'll think that's boring. Don't watch
don't watch that
Don't watch that one.
Don't watch that one. Don't watch
You guys should watch that one, but like sometimes when we were recording a Let's Play, like when we were recording Coming Out on Top, I was like, if anybody in my family sees this, I will just die. I will die. But Blues and Bullets I really liked. That was like a kind of an interesting like revisionist history, like noir, you know. I liked it. It was different, you know.
I know that I'm like, we're being like, yeah, everybody's gay, but for sure Al Capone and his partner, they were together, right?
I mean, he
specifically
says that he was never interested in women, and most people don't like make a point of saying that.
And then Al Capone says, "Oh, we were very close,"
and
we became very close in prison.
Whoa,
that's what he said.
Yeah.
So just putting that out there.
Yeah. Broken Age. So Act 1 didn't come out last year, but Act 2 came out last year, so I'm going to count it as, like...
The best game where the enemy is a bacterial infection of the mouth. No.
What?
Fungus infection of the mouth. They were called the Thrush.
Oh, Thrush. Yes.
The Thrush. Thrush is a yeast infection in your mouth.
Mm-hmm. I told you that.
I know. Jesus. And that is all the context we need.
Yeah. I just want to point out that sometimes I know weird and gross stuff too.
Yeah, this morning, Stacey.
Yeah.
Stacey, I was trying to get I had a tiny. It's gone now.
It's a sty. I
had a little sty in my eye, and Stacey's husband comes up to the car, and I'm like, God damn it! He sees me like trying to pop like an eye pimple, and then she's like, you know, that's like a worm in your eyeball, right? And I was like, what? She's like, that's not actually true. I just wanted to gross you out.
Yeah. You have you have eyelash mites.
Yeah, I knew I had mites, but then the vision she had given me is that like a mite larva.
There was like a worm in your eyeball.
And I was like, I thought it was a bacterial infection. She's like, it is. I was just trying to make you scared.
I was like, I'm just trying to gross you out because you do it to me all the time.
When was the last time I grossed you out?
All the time.
All the time?
All the time.
Hey, what's up? Ew.
Ew, God. Mara, you're so gross. And you're
what did I do?
What?
What did I do? You're here.
Rise of the Tomb Raider was the most, like, I feel like that was the game where the two of us were both, like, the whole time, like, oh, because there's so much, like, death-defying climbing, and just, I thought that parts of it were, like, really beautiful, too. Like, the settings and everything.
I really liked it, and I know that it was on a few people's Game of the Years. I just didn't feel anything, like, bleh, about it. Like, it didn't, like, come out and scream and grab me, like, ha, aren't you, like, something?
Yeah. I feel like if a game for me is going to be, like, the game of the year, or in that contention, like, it should really, like, strike you for some reason. I really liked Rise of the Tomb Raider, and, you know, I have an Xbox One now, like, specifically so that I can go back and, like, play the whole thing, and, like, collect all the shit, and all that stuff, but I just don't think it had that extra, like, oomph that, like, you know, it's like where it, like, slaps you in the face, and it's like, this game is so awesome that you can't
stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
But I guess that's, like, some people just, they don't need that, you know?
Yeah.
They can play, like, Mario Maker, and that's...
Yeah.
I guess Mario Maker can pull you in and get you at your heartstrings, too, though, in that, like, kind of way. But it's, like...
Mm-hmm.
It isn't... Yeah, but some people, they don't need that.
You know, what game did give me that kind of, like, oh my god, this is, like, something really special, was Soma.
Yeah.
That game was, like... That game, the ending, I thought about that for weeks afterwards. And even now, it is a game that I still tell people about because it really made me think about, like, deeper what it means, and, like, you know, like, deeper questions than just, like, oh, we're playing a horror game, you know? I feel like some people probably...
I thought it was gonna be like, but we were like, oh my god, who am I? Like,
what is human existence? Oh god!
I thought we were just gonna be scared, but then it was more like, oh my god, if I die right now, will anybody care?
Yeah, it was more like, you think you're, like, running away from monsters when really it's like, your life is meaningless. Nothing is real.
You're running away from monsters, but really you're running away from your own insecurities.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was so good. It was so good. And, like, I don't know, I find that...
Oh, in case you guys don't know, there is an entire Soma backstory movie out now on the developer's channel.
Yes. So I would go look for if you liked that game, I would go look at some of, like, the extra content that they have around it, because it really, like...
Did you watch those yet?
Not all of it, but I've watched some of them.
You were like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's good stuff.
Good stuff.
Well, and it's like, especially if you play a game and you're like, I want there to be more, but not like a sequel more.
I just want more of this.
You just want more of that. It's like, you know, like Life is Strange. Like, I want there to be more like that, but I don't want to see, like, Max and Chloe come back for season 2.
No way.
Because it's,
that's
like,
so dumb.
That, like, they tied
tied
it up in a bow. It's like, it's done. You know, the story was only meant to go so long. If they
You know how they say with, like, you can ruin a painting with an extra paint stroke?
Yeah.
That's what it is. You don't want to ruin a beautiful masterpiece with an extra paint stroke.
Yeah. By, like, trying to, like, reopen some sort of plot line. It's like...
It literally is completely closed. Like, you cannot... There's nothing you can add. And people are like, oh, well, why don't you have Rachel and Bernie? Like, you want to watch a countdown?
To when she dies?
Like, I know it's like, oh, well, you're watching countdown to when Chloe dies. I'm like, no, you want a confirmed countdown to watching Rachel being
where nothing
drugged.
You do matters.
Nothing you do matters. And then watching Chloe fawn over Rachel. You
want
to watch that?
Oh, yeah.
You want to watch Budding Love? You want to play as Rachel, but the entire time you're rejecting Chloe to be with Frank? That's what you want to watch?
Yeah. I don't think that...
That's what you want to play? You want to play rejecting Chloe and then getting with a man simulator? Like...
Yeah. This is a nice controversial one. Fallout 4.
Listen, it's a good game, but it wasn't, I don't want to say it didn't live up to the hype. It didn't live up to
its potential. Yeah.
Because it had a lot of extra stuff in it, a lot of good extra stuff.
Yes.
But it took away that, like, that thing. Like, a lot of the little quirks, the little things that made the Fallout series and Bethesda open world games overall, like, special. Because you can, like, be polyamorous and, like, romance anyone you want, but it didn't have, like, if you spec'd into Black Widow in previous games, that it opened up entire other, like, storylines for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could have sex with somebody and, like, have different dialogue trees, but in Fallout 4, it just added perks, added, like, charisma towards men. And
Which is, like, yay? But that's, like, not why you did it? Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't, like, nothing felt really like, oh, if I do this is going to drastically change how I experience the game.
I think the funny part was, like, from the moment we started it, do you remember how pissed I was about the baby? And how unwilling I was to get into the story because of that
Because
baby?
of the heterosexual marriage? We genuinely thought, oh, we can be gay. Duh. Like,
yeah, of course, because it's Fallout 4 and you can do anything you want. And then they start you off
and I was like, oh, how do I turn him into a woman?
Yeah.
I was like, how do I...
And instead, they're like, no, instead of getting to do literally anything you want, you're going to start off this with a premise of a husband and a baby. And then, like, the main storyline of the game is going to get your baby? What? That's, like, not...
That's really constraining in a lot of different ways. Like, it's just like, here's a game where they're like, here, you can do anything you want. Like, literally anything. Anything you want to be. Anything. Like, at the beginning of Fallout 3, you're a vault dweller. Mm-hmm. In the beginning of Fallout New Vegas, you got shot in the head. You're looking for your dad. You can do other shit, but you're not tied down to a fucking baby.
And I feel like a baby is a different thing than, like, a dad. You know, like, it's like you're looking for your dad, and, I mean, at least maybe I have like, more loosey-goosey definitions of, like, it's like, you're not, like, responsible for your dad. You know what I mean?
Your dad's fine.
Your dad's gonna just be fine without you if you choose not to do that, but, like, it's a baby. Like, that is your child, and you're supposed to feel something for your child, and I was like, is this just because, like, you spend, like, no time with it. It's not like you have, like, a lead into the story where you...
I finished the main storyline off camera in my own playthrough. Whatever. And it's like, I'm just sitting there like, oh my god, Sean, shut the fuck up. Like... Yeah. But... just, like, it was really annoying to me that, like, they advertise this game as, like, you can do anything you want except be canonically gay. And then, of course, everyone's like, well, you can be bisexual. Bisexual is real. I'm like, yes, I know that bisexuality is real. However, why can't you, in a game, in the context of the world today when you're releasing a game that says, you can do anything you want.
That's literally, like, whatever,
you can do anything you want except be canonically gay.
Yeah.
And then they're like, then lots of people are, well, you can roleplay as somebody who's, like, forced into a heterosexual marriage. I'm like, nobody wants to do that. Like,
what? Yeah, why would you want that?
That's something you have to do in real life. Like,
yeah.
Why would you want to do that? Like, why would somebody who wants to live a fantasy and they've lived their life want to be like, oh, I know. I'm gay in real life. I'm going to be forced to marry somebody of the opposite gender, and then have a baby with them.
Yeah. And then I'm actually going to be, oh my god, it just, no.
You know what? There's a lot of women out there who want to watch their girlfriend die in a nuclear fire, okay?
Yeah.
They want to watch their girlfriend die by getting shot in the face while they're stuck behind a containment shield.
Yeah. While they're trying to save the baby that you adopted.
I recreated my boyfriend as my husband, and I was like, oh no! Bye. But
we kind of made him a mixture of both of our significant others. But to be honest,
on my private one, I made him look exactly like Raphael.
Great.
And I was like, oh.
See ya.
I like felt bad for a second. I was like, later. But I got to do it. And like, why should that be taken away from somebody else? Yeah. I'm just saying, why should that glee of killing the person you love because they won't clean their fucking dishes
I don't know.
be taken away from someone else? I'm just saying, you know? And then they're like, oh, well, you can't have a baby between... Well, you can, though. There's a lot of different ways that could work. And plus, it's the future.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. And I know that it's just, like, that tiny, like, beginning part of the game. But it's just, like, it really started things off on a sour foot for me. And then it's, like, you just look at the rest of it and you're like, you know, there were some characters that I really liked. But none of it just, like, I'm glad we had this, like, best, like, the game of the year conversation already, because nothing came out and screamed and grabbed to me and said, like, this is an amazing game. I was like, there's a lot here. It's a very full world. Like, you'll be able to play it for, like, tens, maybe hundreds of hours and be, like, really amused by it if you just want to kind of, like, lose yourself in what's going on and, like, play all these, like, tiny side areas. But nothing about it really said to me, like, this is amazing, and, like, made me want to, like, recommend it to other people.
Yeah, I feel like, a lot of, just, like, the whole Black Widow perk, I was, like, so sure that if we spec'd into this, we were gonna get extra dialogues that were, like, so cool, you know? Mm-hmm. And, like, there's just so many other things that it was just missing. And I know I'm being like that guy who's like, the previous games are better. But honestly, I really am starting to feel that way because I played Skyrim before I played Oblivion. And I love Skyrim, don't get me wrong. Skyrim was great. But then I played Oblivion. And even though the maps and stuff weren't as good, the quest lines had more cement to them where I was like, oh, this is a cool quest line. I feel this feels really cool. And, like, I feel that just is missing from Fallout 4, where it's, like, I do something and I really feel like, oh, this is an adventure. Mm-hmm. The main storyline, that kind of felt like it. But then I was having points where I just had... There was this one point where I had to, like, follow a smelling trail, and I was just like, oh, this is taking so long. This is so boring. And now I have to kill random people. What does this mean? Mm-hmm. Like...
Yeah. So this next one you'll probably want to talk about Undertale.
Yeah. Changed my soul. I'm pure. I'm pacifist. Pure. Stacy,
has not played the game.
Has not played the game because...
Everybody keeps recommending it to me.
But no, they're not recommending it to you. They're demanding it from you.
Which I it's like, and it's just like, it's one of those things where I'm like,
you have to let Stacy enjoy this on her own, honestly. It needs to come to her naturally.
Yeah, I feel like that's how a lot of things are with me. If I don't, like, come to the decision organically and somebody tries to, like, force me to do something.
I think that if you saw everybody else talking about it, you'd be like, oh, okay. But since everybody was being really aggressive to you.
Really aggressive.
You were like, no. And then, you know, what really sticks though is because I finished and I was like, Stacey, you have to play this game. And you're like, no, I will not play it.
Well, because everybody had already, like, primed me to say no to everybody. And then you were like, Stacey, you have to play it. And I was like, no.
It's so embarrassing because Eric, who's, like, a game developer and, like, he's our friend and stuff, he sent Eric Hermit. He sent me, like, this Skype message and, like, this, like, screenshot of Undertale before it came out. Because he was, like, a game tester. Mm-hmm. And he was like, Mari, you and Stacy have to play this game as soon as it comes out. It's going to be huge. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be, like, the game of the year. And I looked at the screenshot and I was like, I don't think so.
Didn't it also come out while I was on my honeymoon?
I don't remember.
And that was why you played it without me?
I think so.
Yeah. It either
It came out and you didn't want to play it. No, we
quick looked it, right?
We quick looked it, and you were like kind of underwhelmed by it.
Yes. And
then I played it over when you were on your honeymoon, and then I was like, oh my god. I was like crying on the floor in happiness. I was like, like on the street, I was like, this game is so good. Like sobbing. Oh my god. You ever like watch something and you're like, and your heart feels like it's bigger, like your heart is swelling?
Yeah, like when I see gay people in commercials.
Yeah, it's true. and I'm like,
we've made it to capitalism.
No, you
did it.
I hate that I get teary-eyed by that because I
know.
It's like so.
Because it's like the company is like clearly pandering to like the LGBT plus community, and it's just, but I just can't help it.
The Campbell Soup commercial where the one guy goes, Luke, I am your father, and then the other guy goes, Luke, I am your father, and they both laugh because they're a family. And they're both talking to their son, and I'm like, oh my god, it's real. We did it.
So
wait, tell them about your favorite commercial, but don't cry. Challenge.
Okay, so it's the one where it's a lesbian couple and they learn sign language so that they
don't cry. Don't do it.
So that they can adopt a deaf girl. And I was just like, every time I see it, I'm like, so beautiful. Even now, I'm like, oh my god, crap.
I know, and you know that it's like the sappiest.
And it's like for a bank. It's like where they're like, we'll always stand by your finances, or like something like stupid like that. And you're like, just like, and you're like, I don't even care.
Like, it's the most, like, it's the most pandering, because they're not only adopting a little girl, they're adopting a little deaf girl, and you're like, oh my god. What? It's so beautiful. Like, everything's gonna be okay. Everything's okay. Everything's fine. Oh, there was like a Barney's commercial, and it was so like really, really rich gay guy commercial.
Ooh.
So it was like in slow motion, like a family. It was like a dog, like the foofiest dog you've ever seen, and it's like running towards its owner, and like the owner picks him up. And then, like, his husband comes, and they're just, like, hugging with their dog, and they're, like, the most beautiful human beings to ever happen.
I think,
and it's, like, Barney's. And I was like, of course, this is a Barney's commercial.
Yeah. I think that there was actually a Tiffany's, you know, like, the jewelry.
Oh,
where
yeah,
they did engagement rings with, like, a gay couple. And I was like, and it just, you know, I've... not to like sound weird or anything, but I feel like even 10 years ago,
that would never happen.
Never.
Like,
this stuff is like changing really fast. So I don't know
why. I think it's because of social media. Because before, older people were completely
in charge of everything,
completely 100% in charge of the media. And now, like, younger people are like they're like, hey, rude.
Yeah,
rude.
Well, one, it's like, I feel like younger people are becoming more important. Like, so I hate to use this word, but like millennials, which is like Mari and I's generation. I think it goes like up to people who were born in like 2000 maybe.
Yeah, 2001
yeah.
or something.
But it's like as they're getting older, like they're way more progressive. I mean, every generation usually gets more progressive.
Until there's a backlash.
But also, like, they're more progressive, and also they're more likely to make their opinions heard on social media, which can be seen by everybody.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, all it takes is one, you know, pissed off, like 20-year-old who's like, what the hell? Like, why is there no representation of like my culture or my gender or whatever in commercials? Like, why is that? And like, we can like hold companies accountable for not, you know,
doing that
or
being actively bad.
Because before, the media was like all controlled by these like big companies and corporations, and now the media is also controlled on social media, which is controlled by us.
Exactly. So if CNN runs a story that's dumb, like, you don't need to send in a letter. You can take a screen cap and go, what?
Yeah, like, what the fuck is this? And then everybody can see it, you know? Like, we can make our voices heard.
What worries me is, like, eventually there's going to be this, like, as with all things, there's always going to be a backlash where it's going to be, like, the next generation is going to be like, no, I don't need feminine moms. I don't need feminine moms. I'm totally fine with my, like, role. And it's like, by the way, it's totally cool if you want to be a housewife. That's part of feminism, being able to choose. But, like, saying other people can't choose isn't chill. Okay?
Yeah. Well, that's the whole point. Yeah. The whole point is that, like, you get to choose for yourself what you want to do.
Yeah.
And deciding that just because, like, you're happy with, I don't want to say...
certain way of life.
With a certain way of life, that doesn't mean it has to apply to everybody.
Yeah.
So, like, even if somebody is like, I'm a feminist and I believe everybody should work, it's like, well, that's not really fair either. Because just because you want to work doesn't mean that somebody who, like, just wants to take care of kids or the house or whatever is any less valid.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely. Like, some people, like, some people are like, I want to raise my kids full time.
And that is really fucking hard.
Like, and people are like, well, there's a lot of women who go to their jobs and take care of the kids. And I'm like, yeah, they also, like, hire people.
Yeah, they'll hire a nanny.
They have more money, so they can hire people to clean the house and, like, or take their kids to daycare and stuff like that because they have more money, because they either have a dual income or they're a single mom working their ass off.
Yeah.
Or a single dad. Sorry.
But just, like, all of the, you know, there's just, like, this really wide variety of things that are, you know...
Acceptable,
and that, you know, everybody should be able to, like, do their own thing, you know? As long as, like, everybody is, like, willing and consenting adults and everybody's, like, aware of, like, what they want their roles to be and what they want their partner's role to be, who gives a shit?
Yeah, you know, like, those people who are like, I'm just a gold digger, and then there's, like, some guys who are into that, and I'm like...
And who don't care, and they're like, you know what? They want to pay money to have, like, a really hot young wife, and
you know
so what?
Like, yeah, it's like, if you want to be somebody's hot young wife, like, you know, fine.
As long as the guy is okay with it and, like, knows about it, like, who cares?
Yeah.
You know?
Like, if you're like,
whatever.
Hey, I want to be a hot young wife, and he's like, that's cool. I've always wanted a hot young wife. Fine.
Yeah.
That's your life, man. That doesn't affect me negatively at all.
No.
And I have no right to give you shit.
Anyway,
what does that have to do with Undertale? I don't know.
Yeah.
But Undertale was really great, and I can't talk too much about it because Stacey hasn't played it yet, because I care more about not spoiling Stacey.
She keeps, like, holding out hope that I'm going to play it.
Yeah. You have to play. Are you seriously not going to play it or not?
I don't know.
Okay. But it's really good.
People recommend a lot of really great games to me, Undertale included.
Here's the thing. I like games where they present a certain amount of rules to you, and then they flip those rules around, because we all have those tropes of how gameplay. And what Undertale relies on is reversing every single trope that they have. And he included the tropes in which people will go into the game files and try to find things, and he put things in there and that would talk to them as if, like, oh, you found me, huh? You think you're a smartass, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you think you're a smartass
for
finding me? Yeah? Don't share it. And then, of course, people shared it.
Yeah.
But, like, anyway, continue on to the next one.
Oh, Until Dawn.
That was really great.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
One thing I really...
Enjoyed just being right about the Wendigo?
No. But yes. But yes.
That was, like... you know, I know that people were, like, really blown away by the things you were right about with Life is Strange. I was more blown away by Until Dawn, because I was just like, what? Like...
Well, I felt like it was really obvious to me, because the thing is, I was researching a bunch of stuff for Life is Strange. And so I was just, like, reading about skinwalkers and wendigos and stuff like that. And I had known about wendigos for a long time, just because it's, like, you know, if you live in the United States, you know about Native American scary shit.
Yeah.
Like, you're just like, oh, watch out for wendigos. And you're like, what? And they're like, yeah, they'll eat you. And you're like, oh, my God. But anyway... They had said, they were talking about how they went crazy and ate people. And then they were like, this is built on Native American land. And I was like, wendigos?
Yeah, I don't know why. Like, I mean, I just, like, I didn't pick up on that. But I had never heard of wendigos before. I don't know.
Well, that's because, I don't know if Canadian First Nations tribes have wendigos.
I'm not sure. But also, I mean, so my...
First Nations.
My grandmother's family was Native Canadian, or, you know, First Nations. But, like, we never, like, talked about that. You know what I mean?
That doesn't make Stacy's heritage any less valid.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is, like, both of, like, my grandparents on either side were just basically like, no, you're American. Don't talk to anybody about your heritage.
That's what a lot of fifth-generation kids hear from their...
Yeah.
From their, kids, because the people who came over, like, first and second generation kids, they're like, we're Chinese to the end. Like,
no,
no, we're wherever our parents came from until we die. And then if you're like fifth generation or fourth generation, they're like, we don't talk about what happened then. You're American.
My on my dad's side, that's
my experience.
Yeah. I feel like it depends on how they're treated when they come over here. Mm-hmm. Some of them, like, cling really tightly to their heritage, and they're like, no, like, this is what we are, it's where we came from. Other families had, like, the opposite experience, where they're like, we are leaving everything behind. You are American. We're not teaching you any of our native language. We're never going to speak it ever again.
Did I ever tell you about why my mom and my auntie are named the way they are? After World War II, like... all the Japanese people wanted to be, all the Japanese people in Hawaii really, really wanted to be American. They were like, no, we're American, guys. We're American, guys. We're totally American.
like, we've been here forever.
Like, we were here before the war. Just, we're so American.
Yeah.
So they named all, like, the girls in one generation, in one, like, year, Carlene, because they saw on a billboard a woman for a movie, and it had the name Carlene on it, so then everyone was like, Carlene's an American name, so they all named their daughters Carlene.
Aww.
So my auntie's name is Carlene, but it's, like, spelled in the exact way this one woman's name is named Carlene. And then they were like, okay, what do we name our other daughter? Lynn. But we gotta spell it the American way, so they had it spelled the American way.
Yeah.
So that's, like... Sometimes people, like, they get traumatized, like, no, we're American.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Like, they don't want to, like, bring it up at all. I tried, like, before my grandmother died, like, I tried to, like, sit down with her and ask her about, like, I was like, so, like, when did you guys, like, come over here? And, like, I was trying to ask her questions about it. She wouldn't talk to me about any of it. Like, didn't even say that she didn't remember. She was like, I don't want to talk about that. Like, just completely shut me down. And I was actually really surprised because, like...
What if you're Jewish?
I could be. Definitely.
Yeah.
It would make sense. Based on nothing, I guess. Yes. I mean, just, like, the area that they came from, it would make sense.
Yeah, probably.
And, like, the timing of all of that.
Time to 23andMe it.
I know, right? But anyways, Until Dawn... I enjoyed it. I thought it was like...
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Ooh, yeah. Wendigos.
I was going to say, one thing that simultaneously annoys me, but I also appreciate it as a game mechanic, is that we were like, people were dying and we were like, oh, shit, people died. And then everyone was like, I can't believe it. She's dead.
Oh, yeah.
She's dead. And I was like, why the fuck do you guys care so much? And then I realized... It's because it's a video game. And that's what the power of telling a story with a video game is. Mm-hmm. Because if they were watching that in a movie, they're like, she's dead, like, whatever. Yeah. But, like, because it was a video game.
And we have agency over the choices of the characters. Mm-hmm.
Like, suddenly, there's so much, like, emotional, like, connection to it. It's, like, so thirsty. Because that fandom would never have developed at all if it was a movie. No way.
No, not at all.
Like, that fandom on Tumblr and, like,
it is a really awesome fandom too.
It's like very intense.
Very intense.
Very intense fandom.
Intense, but really awesome.
Very intense, really awesome. Great fan art. But it's like they like Ashley's mayonnaise at the end. Like someone like Ashley, I was like, oh, she's like the most bland person ever, and then she watches Chris die stone cold. just she like her face is like completely like, I'm watching you die, bro. Mm-hmm. Whatever. And you're like, okay, Ashley.
Do you remember forever ago on a podcast, we talked about, can video games be art? And you were like, yes, they're art, blah, 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 all this stuff. And then I was sitting there and I was like, I don't see why they have to be art. I feel like you took my argument like a different way than what I meant it. And what I meant.
Because like, I was so used to dude bros being like, they're not art.
Yeah, which is not how I meant it. I meant it more like they can be more than that because they are interactive and playable. Like you can develop more with a game than you can looking at a painting, listening to music, because a creator creates it and then it's done.
I remember, okay.
Yeah.
Stacy's definition of art was very particular paintings, right? At the time, I can prove this.
Oh, God.
You were like, no, I only think that paintings and some music are art. And I was like, okay.
Maybe, but I thought it was more like art is like a static, like it's a thing that a creator creates and then like nobody else changes it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And things have obviously changed now that like more art has become interactive and like transformative, and people are like, well, what is art really if it's not just something that a creator makes and then it goes out into the world the way it is?
At the time. Well, this was like 3 years ago, so it doesn't matter anymore.
Well, but what I was saying is that I think video games can be more than art. They can give us more than what people standardly define as art, and that trying to just blanket everything as art, like, while it serves its purpose in terms of, like, keeping video games, like, as part of protected free speech and all that stuff. But, like, in terms of, like, a classical definition, calling a video game just, like, art, along with, like, all of these other things that aren't really related to it or, like, have the same...
I just have a really extremely undefined, fluid definition of art. That's just, how I see things. It's hard for me to have tangible definitions of anything, really.
I mean, I just think that art is a very...
Oh, sorry, I was rocking, sorry.
It's just, like, I don't know. I'm not saying it's, like, a poor definition for video games. I just think that we can find something better.
A better word?
A better word.
Like, interactive media?
Something. But I'm saying, like, I don't know if it's, like, we call it, like, interactive art or whatever.
Let's make up a new, like, really obnoxious millennial word for it.
Oh, yeah. We'll come up with, like, some sort of, corporate jargon word.
Aesthetic. Aesthetic. That's, like...
Yeah, good job, Mari. It's aesthetic. You did it. You found the word.
Aesthetic art.
It's aesthetic.
Aesthetic art.
We're not going to try and come up with it right now because we'll do a really shitty job.
What are you doing? Oh, okay.
I'm looking up something for later.
Oh, for our Brewston? Wait, should we do the thing now or later?
Oh, we can do it now. So, we have... So speaking of people who pay us money, we actually have 2 really great sponsors for you guys that we wanted to talk about. So the first
speaking of giving us money that doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah, giving us money that doesn't cost you anything. Or, no, that's not quite true.
That's not, like, it costs you something. But
well,
you're getting a service.
You get something from it.
Yeah, and we get money indirectly.
Yes.
Are we supposed to tell them how much money we want? Because I don't want to be a liar.
No, we don't. No. but we just have to say that it's sponsored.
Okay, these are sponsored things, and we
Mari.
get money I don't want to be, like, lying.
That's what a sponsorship means.
I know, but I just want to make sure that the audience knows.
That we get money?
That we get money. But how we get money.
You're so not smooth about anything.
Listen, that's what people like about me.
That's
it makes them feel less embarrassed about their own life because I'm a hot mess. They're like, wow, Mari's a complete disaster.
Like, wow, what is going on? This conversation is embarrassing me to listen to.
Anyway, so our sponsors really love us for how smooth our sponsorships are.
Okay. Well, the first one is Audible. For those of you that don't know about Audible, you can listen to audiobooks and, you know, you can, like, learn about different things. Like, they have over 180,000 titles, including some in English, en français, en espagnol, in italiano, naruxim und Deutsch.
Some things that we like to do while listening to audiobooks is travel.
Yeah.
Clean the house. Do menial tasks. Work out.
I like to listen to them on my commute because I don't like staring. Like, I spend a lot of time, like, looking at a computer screen, so it's nice to just, like, listen and, like, you know, be transported.
Also, if you have, like, extreme, like, anxiety like I do, I just put my headphones in and I just go off and then, like, oh, I have to do grocery shopping? Here, let me put my headphones in. So
and
I'm
then
not,
you can just
like...
pretend that you're not out in the world.
Exactly.
With everybody staring at you.
Nope. Not Stacy. Like...
But two books that I've listened to recently that were really great was the book version of Star Wars The Force Awakens by Alan Dean Foster. And if you have okay, so I wouldn't recommend it if you haven't already seen the movie, but if you saw the movie and you liked it, or even if you saw the movie and you were like, okay.
Like, that's fine.
It is just, like, the audiobook performance is great. It's got, like, different voices, there's sound effects, there's music. It is really, like, it is, like, a performance. It is not just somebody, like, parts of it are just straight narration, but it's, like, I don't know. I was, like, very transported. There's also sections in the book that weren't in the movie, and so you get, like, kind of, like, there's this whole, like, big section that you never see in the movie, and I was like, oh! I mean, I could see why they didn't include it, but at the same time... I don't know. It was just, like, it was really great. I really enjoyed it.
Wait, could I listen to the audiobook before seeing the movie?
I don't see why not.
Do you think it would be, like, if I listened to the audiobook first, I could be the only snob in the world who goes to see the movie? And it's like, that wasn't in the book. Like,
I don't know. The thing I liked
I'm
about...
just joking about
Yeah.
it.
I mean, the thing I liked about seeing the movie first was that, like...
You knew how everyone looked, or...
Yeah, I knew, like, what everybody looked like. And just, there's definitely things that are in the movie that you don't get from the book. You know what I mean?
This is the audiobook that you can get on audible.com with our referral link, which is... audibletrial.com/geekremix. So it's audibletrial.com/geekremix. And then you'll get a 30-day free trial, and what that includes is one free book. And then after that, you sign up. And you get charged monthly, and then you get a free book every month, or something like that. You get a free book every month that you can listen to. But it costs money. I don't know how much it costs, but I just want to make sure that...
Well, after the free trial is
After the free trial is over, it costs money, but it's, like, not a lot. I've been signed up for, like, a year and a half because I love audiobooks.
Yeah.
What have I been listening to lately?
Well, the other one that I was going to recommend it's called The Art of Language Invention, From Horse Lords to Dark Elves, The Words Behind World Building by David J. Peterson. And so I had actually seen this guy, I saw him on The Daily Show, and he was like, he's the guy that created, like, Dothraki for the Game of Thrones. He created a bunch of the languages in Sci-Fi's Defiance, which I had never seen, but now I'm very interested to see because, like, I want to see everything, like, but anyways, he, when people construct a language, they call it a conlang, and it's basically, like, a made-up language, but there's, like, way more that goes into it than you would think. Like, wow, like, this book is very extensive. Like, if you are a, like, dork about languages, like a dork, you will love this book because it is, like, so detailed. It, like, goes over all, like, the different noises that you can make with your mouth and, like, all of these different languages in the world and, like, how people talk, and, like, it was just, like, it was really fascinating. But at the same time, I was also listening to it, and I was like, wow, I could not picture my husband thinking this was enjoyable, like, at all. he would, because he would.
What Stacey is saying is that only real nerds,
only real dorks allowed. Sorry.
Only real dorks will like this book. So if you're not a real dork, don't even try.
But he would hear me, like, he would see me, like, walking around the house with it, like, in my headphones, and then I'd just, like, say random words out loud because I'd be, like, repeating what the speaker said. You know? Mm-hmm. Just to, like, practice, like, making words with my mouth. It was just, like, it was really fascinating. So, if you guys are interested in checking out a free trial, it is audibletrial.com/geekremix.
One book that I would recommend that I think people would like is So You've Been Publicly Shamed. It's by the same guy who made The Men Who Stare at Goats. And if you've seen the movie, that's, like, nothing at all what the book is like.
So why bring it up?
I'm just saying that the book of Men Who Stare at Goats is about how he studies how people, like, how the United States tortures the people in Guantanamo Bay and everything.
Oh, right.
But it also is but they also go into, like, how the United States research psychic. On another note, the Men Who Stare at Goats book was about how the United States military researched into psychics and magic and stuff and how to, like, do all this stuff. Yeah. And it was just a side project that they did to fund. And they did use some of the tactics that they used, like how to make soldiers more efficient and how to, like, torture people and stuff.
What is the book about that you're trying to recommend?
That's what I'm telling you. That's what it's about.
Oh, okay. So You've Been Publicly Shamed book?
No, I just said Men Who Stare at Goats.
Oh, so you're recommending
the guy who made Men Who Stare at Goats that I just described, he also made So You've Been Publicly Shamed.
Yes.
Which is him going around interviewing people who have been publicly shamed on social media. Mm-hmm. And then researching how public shaming and shame is, if that actually works in correcting someone's behavior or making somebody's life change for the better and stuff. And then talking...
Basically, if all of that stuff is just, like, everyone wants to shame them to feel better about themselves, or whether it, like, actually does any good.
Yeah. And most of the time, like, a lot of the people he interviewed, like, their lives are ruined forever. And then he, like, kind of points out that the things that these people did weren't actually, like, the worst thing in the world. Like, they talk about that woman who made that AIDS joke. The PR professional. Yeah.
And so she was like, oh my god, because she was like...
Yeah. The thing is, it made her look like a completely racist jerk. But what she was doing was, that tweet was sarcastic because somebody had said that to her and she thought it was, like, super rude. Yeah. But she couldn't change it because she was on, like, an 11-hour flight. Mm-hmm. But anyway, her life was ruined. And, like, he talked about how this other stuff happens to other people, and it's just really interesting how he'll go really, really deep into the subject, and eventually he starts researching the psychology of it. He goes to a kink fetish club and, like watches people become publicly shamed there and how it's, like, their fetish. Mm-hmm. And then he goes to, like, a rehabilitation group for people who've done really terrible things, but they, like, feel really bad about it. Mm-hmm. And, like, how this one woman, she's so ashamed of all the things she did, but eventually she forgives herself and becomes a counselor herself and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So, it's really interesting. He also made the psychopath test, which studies, like, the mental health institution and everything, so it's pretty cool. Mm-hmm.
Well, so if you guys wanted to check out any of those, there's So You've Been Publicly Shamed, Star Wars The Force Awakens book, and The Art of Language Invention. Those are all available on Audible. So the other one that we were going to tell you about was Geek Fuel, which is, like, if you've seen any of, like, the geeky subscription boxes, it's like that. You get, like, a box every month full of, surprise goodies. I like it because I get something every month that is like...
It's nice.
It's nice.
It's to get something.
That's a surprise, you know? And you also, unlike a lot of the other subscription boxes that are out there for nerds, you get a t-shirt every month in a size of your choosing, of course. And if you sign up using our referral link, which is geekfuel.com/geekremix, you get $2 off your first box, a bonus item. Yeah.
That's it. But it's cool because what's useful about it is that you get a bunch of stuff, and like it's a bunch of cool stuff, and the stuff that comes inside is actually pretty good quality. And I got salt shakers and stuff. And then if there's anything that you don't want, you can give it to your friend and like be like, oh, now you're my friend and you owe me your friendship. Mm-hmm. You feel obligated to hang out with me because I gave you something.
Because I gave you something nice.
I gave you something nice.
Yep.
The end.
So, I don't know. I like getting like subscription boxes like that because it just like, I don't know. It's like a nice surprise
happiness to your life.
Yeah.
Just something to look forward to, or like on a bad day, they're like, hey, you got a package.
Yeah, and then, and so then you get to like, I don't know, it's like, you get like a t-shirt, and they're all like nerdy, but like, and they're unique designs, you know?
Some of the stuff is fun, like cards and useful stuff. It's not like junk. Yeah, it's like stuff you can use.
So, and the referral link for that is geekfuel.com/geekremix. Now,
okay, back to what we were doing.
We had a couple more games that came out last year that we had played. We'll start off with a softball, and that's King's Quest.
Oh. I mean, the first episode was great. The second episode was not great.
You know, I really feel like the second
episode really set you up for failure.
Yeah. And, you know, with the second episode, I also kept thinking, like, if I had known that, like, this is the whole episode is this puzzle, like, by the way, nobody's actually dying, relax, and just, like, do the puzzle, then I would have been able to, like, relax and enjoy it. But instead, I kept thinking to myself, like, why aren't we getting out of here? Why is it taking us so long to do this? Like, what about the rest of this that we still have to play? And, like... What do you mean we're killing these people that you just set us up to really like in the first episode? We're failures!
Yeah, I was really upset that Strongbay died. Like, I loved her. I was just like, oh, we gotta take care of the weakest people first. Because we're the king, blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Like, you know, it's our job to take care of the weak. And it's just like... I get it. Like, I get the moral of the story. Like, when we think everything's going to shit, and then it's not, you're fine. And
then it's not, you're fine. That's the more of the story is you're fine.
Yeah, it was just very stressful.
Yeah.
It's very, very stressful.
In other stressful games, Masochisia.
Oh. Whoa. But we knew what we were getting into.
We did know what we were getting into there, but it just really...
That was fucked up.
Yeah, it was a fucked up game.
It was...
If you like fucked up, I would go play it.
Someone yelled at me. They're like, you didn't tell me it was a game about trigger warning, raping children. And I was like, but it's not about raping children. The end of the end of the trigger warning. It's not about that.
I don't know.
A lot of people yelled at us for stuff that wasn't in the game, that they had just looked up Albert Fish. And I was like, well, that's not in the game, and why are you yelling at me?
Yeah. Yeah.
We put 3 warnings in the front of the game. Mm-hmm.
And we said, like, over and over and over again, like, if you are not ready for this to be seriously fucked up, like, do not watch this. Do not. And
the reason why we didn't put every trigger warning for what could possibly be in there, because it would have been...
quite extensive. It would have been an outline.
It would have been an outline of the game. Yeah. So we said, hey, know yourself.
Know your limits.
Know your limits. Don't get in here. Don't come in.
Yeah.
And yet still people were still upset, and I was like, dude, we said, like, warnings.
Yeah. And we don't do that. Like, we don't take that very lightly. Like, we don't sit there and, like, you know, we're not, like, very trigger warning happy on games that don't deserve it. Like, we've
We do put trigger warnings
trigger warnings, but we don't sit there together at the beginning of a game and tell people specifically not to watch a video. You know what I mean? Like, that's something that we don't...
We never do, because we want you to watch the video.
Yeah.
But this was the very first time we've ever sat at the beginning of the game and said, hey, this game, whoa.
Yeah. Gets really fucked up. So just, like...
And when you think it's gonna stop getting more fucked up,
yeah.
Whoa.
So, yeah.
It's good when you... Okay? Whoa.
And then the last one I have on the list is Sybil.
That was a raw game.
I really liked it. And you know what? It's funny because it came out and it grabbed me for, like, a very emotional reason that wasn't necessarily, like, oh, wow, like, this, you know, like, amazing graphics or, like, mind-blowing gameplay. Like, that was all just about, like, storytelling and about...
Honesty.
And somebody who really, like, put a lot of work into the character, even though I feel like, you know... I mean, especially since, like, at one point I was, like, a 12, 13, 15-year-old girl, you know?
With a live journal?
With a live journal.
Yeah.
Why'd you bring up the live journal? So, I had several live journals, actually. All for my different interests and with, like, different internet friends, because I had...
Different internet friends?
Different internet friends, because I had a really active social life.
Whoa.
Yep.
All I had was, like, I would go on the Neopets forums and be like, does somebody want to be my Neopets boyfriend?
I'm sorry.
And then I pretended to be a boy and got a Neopets girlfriend. Yep.
But, yeah, Sybil hit me for the same reasons as Emily is Away. Because it just, like... And I didn't really count Emily is Away on this list, only because it's, like, shorter, but I guess you could count, like, both of them on, like, the Let's Play list. I don't know. But Sybil, it just, like, if you have ever had an online relationship, or if you've ever been a teenager, ever, it's, like, yeah.
Whoa. But it's, like...
Yeah.
So bad.
I know. I mean, just like the characters were really good. And it's like
they were real people.
Because they were so real, you know? And I mean, like, I hate to be that person.
The conversations were very real.
Yes. The conversations were, like, so realistic, like, even down to, like, the dorky poetry.
Oh, speaking of conversations, I really feel like people don't know how teenagers talk. Because everyone was like, yeah, Life is Strange's dialogue is so, like, not real. And I was like, have you hung out with any teenagers lately? At all? Or remember yourself?
Yeah, well, you know why? It's because people like to, like, look back and be like, no, I wasn't a dork. I was cool. Like, I didn't use outdated slang.
I mean,
Not
it's just
me.
like, I feel people want quote unquote realism that aligns with the ideal version of themselves more than they want
actual realism.
Because everyone was like, oh yeah, Oxenfree, like, this is dialogue that I can relate to. And I'm like, yeah, but they're talking about, like, they're 30.
Yeah.
They're all talking like they're 30 years old. And, I don't know if you know this, but teenagers talk... Every single person who was like, teenagers don't talk like that, and I'm like, look at their profile, and they were like, hashtag YOLO, and I'm like, right, okay. If you say fleek, even if ironically, if you say any of that shit, even ironically, bae,
yeah,
okay, you're in. And besides, it takes place in 2013, so they were using slang from 2013.
Also, people definitely say hella.
Yeah, what? You can't... That's a regional thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it's one of the on a total side note, one of the things I really liked about the Oxenfree dialogue was that it was realistic to a real conversation.
Pacing.
With the pacing, but also in that if you chose to speak too soon, you cut off the other characters and you missed what they were gonna say.
And then if you took too long, you missed your chance to say
anything.
anything.
Exactly. Like, that is so realistic.
It was very stressful.
Yeah.
And it was like, Mari, you're like messing up. And I was like, you try and do this. This is very stressful.
Yeah.
She keeps missing it because she's not paying attention. I'm like, no, I want to hear what they have to say and then decide on what I want to say, but it's not letting me. I want to choose what I want to say based on what they're saying, but it's like a real conversation where you're trying to keep up, and then
you're trying to keep up and time it correctly, and
then you say something stupid.
Mm-hmm. We all say stupid shit.
No,
for
Stacey. Sure. In my fantasy of complete realistic games, that's completely realistic, but also my fantasy.
None of us ever say dumb shit.
None of us ever say dumb shit. Also, my dating life is perfect, and I never say anything wrong that makes people want, and I don't...
Or eat cupcakes when there's a really serious moment.
Yeah. I totally fucked up that game.
For anyone who's not aware what that's referring to, it's... Actually, I'm not sure what the timing of these videos is going to be.
Yeah, whatever. Who cares?
Whatever.
You'll know. You'll know.
In any case, so thank you so much for tuning into this, really long podcast. I hope you enjoyed us talking about all the games.
Podcasts are supposed to be this long.
Yeah, I know. But I mean...
Remember the first time we recorded a podcast and you're like, how long is this going to be? I was like, I don't know, an hour. And you're like, an hour?
Me?
What?
Yeah, because we had we didn't have that many followers. I really didn't think that anyone...
You gotta start off dreaming big.
But you know what I mean? It never occurred to me that people would want to listen to the two of us talk for that long.
Yeah, well, you have to start off with illusions of grandeur, then meet the grandeur.
Right. So I'm hoping we can do this with more regularity.
Oh, have you seen Mr. Robot?
No, I haven't. Don't tell me anything about it because everyone has told me that I will really love it.
Okay, I've only seen the first episode.
Okay.
No one leave any comments about Mr. Robot. Bye.
Bye.